If you feel like you're struggling to figure out exactly how to become a top life insurance producer making 15, 20, 30, 50, even $100,000 per month, in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down some key effective strategies that you need to be focusing on to help you leverage the skill set that you either have or are looking to mold in the life insurance space. So as always, please make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll hop right into the video. Let's get it. There are keys, tips, and tricks to actually become a top life insurance agent or producer, and I'm going to be breaking that down today. There are 7 principles that can take you from $3,000 a month to over $30,000 a month. So let's hop right in and let's break it down. Let's get to it. Okay, step number 1, you need to avoid what other people are doing. So often we try to follow the masses. The better equation would be to follow those people who are coming back from where you're trying to go, okay? So what that means is they've already been where you want to go. So if you have an upline or a manager or a mentor or whatever you want to call them that's writing a lot of business, just do what they're doing. Everybody else is going to tell you this, they're going to tell you that, life insurance doesn't work, it's the leads, it's that. No, just follow what that person is telling you. They're obviously doing something right, okay? Now, caveat number 2 to that is pay attention, watch their feet, not their mouth. If they tell you they're making all this money, ask them to see their bank account, right? Ask them to see exactly what's going on. Now, people are afraid to do that because they don't want to be called out. But if somebody can't show you the numbers, then why would you want to follow them? It doesn't make sense. A lot of people are just saying that they're making money. They're posting that they're making money, but are they really making money? That's very, very important, right? If you want to become a top life insurance agent or producer, because there's so much chatter in this space. So be strategic and be different. And if you cannot find somebody, here's what I suggest. Go find a sales coach who's good in another industry to help teach you different ways to sell and then leverage the same principles. Life insurance is super simple. It's not like you're trying to sell a course or consulting program. You're not doing anything. You're talking about life insurance. So sales reps from any industry can teach you the strategies on how to sell. You just need to learn subtle verbiage. And as long as you're not doing an annuity, right, or a very well-structured IUL, if you're doing mortgage protection or final expense, you do not need an entire masterclass on selling life insurance. You need to understand the concepts, take some time to understand the differences between different types of mortgage protection and how to leverage life insurance, but you need to be learning how to sell. So don't do what everybody else is doing. That's step number 1, right? Because a lot of people are just get lost in the sauce and then they just end up in debt. And that is not the right thing to do. Okay, there's a reason why there's a high churn rate, because people don't actually make money. And that's a problem. Number 2, set up your own marketing, okay? The lead vendor days are becoming more and more obsolete, okay? You need to own your lead flow. You don't need to depend on your upline for scraps or whatever leads that they're giving you. You need to create your own system, own your lead. Facebook ads, SEO, Google ads, whatever. Learn a skill set or pay somebody to do it, right? I don't suggest that you learn that skill set for the end all be all, but you should have a somewhat of an understanding of what you're paying somebody to do so you can vet the right people who say the right things. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Unless you're paying somebody a lot of money, then you're just like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. So you need to own your own marketing or pay somebody to do the marketing for you. Number 3, you need to brand yourself. Okay, so a lot of people are afraid to do this. What I mean by that is people are buying you. They're not buying the product. They're not buying the light. They're buying you. So if you want to build a team, if you want clients who ask you potentially, hey, let me see your reviews, whatever it is, they need to have somewhere they can go. You need to look the part. It's very, very important. Okay. Understand that when you're really trying to build rapport, you should be able to show people what you've done. And that's the idea of having social proof. Number 4, I personally think that you should leverage relationships very, very well. Now, when I say take on partial cases, essentially what I mean is get with somebody who's way ahead of you. Like myself, I'm not the best. I'm actually in the process right now of learning how to do annuities. I'm educating myself. I'm getting involved with some of my agents and agencies that I work with and have partnered with so they can teach me. If I was an agent, I would do that too. I would ask people, hey, like if you could show me how you close my deals, I'll give you a percentage, right? That's partial cases, JV deals. Let's work together, right? I'll run these leads. I'll call them, book the appointment. I just want to see how you do. A lot of people are afraid to do that, but you learn faster by watching them in real time and then also getting your feet wet. Don't just make them sell for you. Try to do it and mess it up on your own. We used to do this thing where we would go in the house when we were talking to somebody and my mentor would just say, hey, call me when you get stuck. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, Just call me when you get stuck. The principle was to go in and fall on your face on your own, and I'll be there to pick you up and help you out, right? Second thing is, a lot of people are, they get commission breath because they're chasing huge premiums. You need to be consistent first. Now, what do I mean by that? You need to be able to build quality plans for your clients, not just come in and say, hey, you need 50 grand. Like, yes, you can sell 50 grand, but you know why you're selling 50 grand, who you're selling 50 grand to, and how you should do it, right? And that's very, very important. Step 5, this is mine. This is more of an organic outreach. A lot of people won't tell you all this. You need to make 100 offers a day, okay? Until you have enough money to spend $100 a day on ads, you need to be making 100 offers a day, okay? You need to be talking to random strangers. You need to be talking to your friends and family, right? And I'm not saying you need to be the cheesy person. I need to be like, hey, like, honestly, just like, I'm not trying to be cheesy, but like, bro, do you have life insurance? Hey, excuse me, auntie, you got life insurance? Like, you need it. Like, I'm not gonna try to be salesy. Like, we can get you a small policy, but like, do you have life insurance? Because if you really care about what you're doing, you should care about your family. Like, if your loved one passed away and they don't have life insurance, who's going to pay for that? You, your aunt, your mom, somebody's got to pay for it. And when you talk to random strangers, if they don't have life insurance, somebody else is going to be responsible for it. So it's not like you're selling a book or, a course or a program or, clothes. And it's like, oh my goodness, why are you bothering me about this? Like, no, you actually need life insurance. Like, everybody does. So I don't know why you would think that you don't, right? That's my thought process. Okay. So make 100 offers a day, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, in person, 100. I promise you, if you make 100 offers and you even do some of the steps up above, you will make a lot of money. Honestly, you could probably just make 100 offers a day and still make $30,000, because if you just went on your Facebook and started prospecting, told your friends and family, you could do that too. Do I think that's the most ideal way? No, because nobody wants to be known as that person. But at the same time, if you do it in a very organic way, you won't have any problems. Okay. So I always like letting people know that. The next step is pay yourself a salary. A lot of times, especially if you're working with like an IMO or a large company that's paying you, high commissions, you start your first month, you're going to get like 30 grand in the bank, 15 grand in the bank. You're like, oh my goodness. And you're still paying yourself like a 1099 worker. So I would suggest you get like an ADP. You start up an LLC, right? You need to, and this is step 6 and 7, like you need to become a business, not just a 1099 worker. Yes, you're a 1099 worker, but you need to establish a business. You need to be thinking steps ahead. Okay, I'm going to be building an agency. What would the name be, right? Don't put life insurance in there, right? Just keep it very general, whatever consulting, whatever solutions, whatever it may be. And then you need to put yourself on payroll. Go get ADP. There's tons of other, ChatGPT, numerous other payroll companies that you can call up and build a relationship with, and put yourself on payroll for the sake of knowing what it feels like to be on payroll. Because just because you are now getting paid as a 1099 worker does not mean you should just pay yourself like that. Create percentages, 5%, 10%, 20%, allocate specific funds that you get to certain departments. So if you get paid a policy for $1,000, put 20% aside, right? And say, hey, this 20% is going to go to me. So I just got paid $200, right? If I make 2 sales a day, I made $400. If I make 5 sales in a week, right? I made $2,000. If I made $2,000 a week, I made $8,000 a month. That's really good, especially when you're coming from your last job. The problem is we go from making, $4,000 a month to $40,000 a month. And then all our funds and everything get commingled. We start buying stuff that we don't need. And we're just like, yo, what are we doing? That is a part of the problem. Okay. So when you get set up like a business, you can pay yourself, and now you can put yourself on payroll. You say, okay, cool. I know that I'm going to pay myself $1,500 a week. And I would come up with a number that you would like to get paid that you only have been exposed to up until that point before you start, right? So let's say you're coming from a job once again where you're making $4 grand a month. Dude, I want to make more. I need to make like 8 grand. Cool. So I need to pay myself $2,000 a week, right? So then you start doing the math. How many policies do I need to write to pay myself $2,000? Well, shoot, if I write 3 policies in a week and each policy pays me 3 grand, then I've already made 2. Now you say, okay, well, if I take the 3 grand I've made and I pay myself 2, that only leaves $1,000 for more leads, chargebacks, whatever. Is that smart? Probably like, no. Okay, well, I have 2 options, right? Either I can decrease my number or I need to make more to pay myself. That is the number one hack I wish I would have done. If I would have did that, it would have been life-changing. I did the opposite. I got $15,000, $30,000 my first few months. Well, actually, I was getting like 12,000 the first few months. Then finally, I started turning up and started getting 30, 40, 50. But the problem was I was getting 30, 40, 50,000, but it was all just coming to me. So I had no metrics. I wasn't budgeting. I didn't have anything organized, right? And that was my ignorance. So I would say, understand that you need to treat yourself and pay yourself on a salary and become a business, right? Get systems. Now, hiring help will come down the line, but like, this is how you should think. Understand and learn how to sell. Don't blame the leads either. That's another thing. Don't blame the leads. It's not the lead. It's always a sales ability. The leads just buffers up whatever sales ability you already have. If you sucked at selling, no lead's going to help you be better at selling. If you were good at selling, no lead's going to make you worse, right? So understand that, like, if you're good, you're good. It's just how effective is what you're doing. That's what you got to figure out. And that's what you got to figure out who to work with. So as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you need help with kind of getting set up as a top life insurance agent, you can always DM me on Instagram or drop a comment below. Go to the website, book a call. We'd love to hop on a call with you. It's a free strategy session, kind of break down your current situation. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. All right. Peace.